Hi, my name is Charlotte, and in a series of short videos, I've been sharing my breast cancer journey with you. If you missed any of my previous videos, I'll leave a link so that you can go back and view them. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you'll know when the latest video is uploaded. Now, in this segment, I'll continue sharing about going through chemo, its side effects, and the unbearable loss that me and my family suffered. In my last video, I talked briefly about losing my hair, my fingernails and my toenails turning dark, which was part of the side effects that I suffered. The neuropathy, the mild depression, and just the extreme tiredness. But of all the side effects that I suffered from the chemo, to me, the worst was losing my ability to taste and enjoy my food. Now, I never lost my appetite, just my ability to taste food like it normally tasted. And this presented a challenge because everything that I ate tasted bad, tasted nothing like I knew it to taste in the past. But I had to sustain my strength, so it was important for me to eat regardless of how food tasted. But I did begin to notice a pattern when it came to eating my food and my chemo treatments. Usually 3 days prior to or after my chemo treatments is when I could taste and enjoy my food a little bit better. So during those days is when I would be sure to cook the foods that I really craved so that I can enjoy them. Now, although vomiting and diarrhea were some of the side effects of the chemo, I only experienced very, very mild diarrhea like the first 2 days after my sessions, and no vomiting at all. So fortunately, I did not have to take any of the additional medications that were prescribed for those two things. If after eating, I began to feel nauseous or a little sick to my stomach, I made myself some pickled ginger that I would eat, or I would chew pieces of ginger candy that a friend of mine, Miss Yvonne Davis Carter, she bought these candies for me from Trader Joe's. Now, in addition to my professional job, I have 2 side businesses. I'm a dessert caterer, and I refurbish and resell vintage Coach handbags. But during my chemo and the surgeries that followed, I did have to temporarily put these businesses on hold in order to conserve my energy. Now, my chemo treatments were always on Friday evenings, and the days following, I would be fine. However, 2 days after my 3rd treatment, I was totally wiped out. I remember waking up that Monday morning, and I had to literally drag myself out of bed to get ready for work. I could hardly get through taking my shower, but fortunately, I do have an area in my shower where I could sit down, so this really helped. After taking my shower, I had to get back in bed just to regain my strength, and this was one of those days when I called in to use one of my intermittent sick days. After talking to my doctor about this, he explained to me that the chemo drugs had steroids in them, so naturally, for the first 2 days after my chemo sessions, I was full of energy. However, on the 3rd day, I was crashing. So what he suggested was that I take half a dosage of 2 of my pre-chemo meds, and this should solve the problem. So I remember after my 4th treatment, I did this, and the Monday after, I felt fine. Now, looking back in retrospect, it would probably have been better if I had my chemo treatments on a Wednesday evening. That way, on Thursday and Friday, I would be full of energy. I could go to work with no problem. And then on Saturday, I could spend the entire day in bed if necessary, resting to regain my strength. Now, also, because of the chemo treatments, my immune system was also affected. It was weakened and could be easily compromised. So whenever I went out into public, I always wore a surgical mask. And since I used public transportation to go to work, using a mask was definitely necessary. And my office was also helpful in providing me with a temporary office to go to just in case we had those brave people that decided to come to work sick. Now, after my fourth chemo session, my oncologist informed me that I may require radiation. And if I did, those treatments would be every day for 5 weeks. Now, I said, okay, but I cannot begin to tell you how devastated I was when I heard this news. I prayed and prayed for weeks, telling God to please let this pass because I didn't want to go through any more of this. Finally, one day when I had this petition before God, the Lord said to me, "You're praying the wrong prayer." And without hesitation, I knew exactly what he meant. So I said, okay, God, if you know that somewhere down the line I will have needed this radiation, I'm willing to go through it. And after that, I didn't pray about that anymore. Now, Philippians 4:6 tells us that we can ask God for anything. But what we have to remember in our asking is that we cannot tell God how to do what we ask him to do. My last chemo treatment was on March 2nd, 2018. And I was very, very happy that those treatments were over, simply for the reason that I could now enjoy my food. When I told you that that was very important to me and how disappointed I was serious. I remember after my chemo treatments was over, I made myself a very nice meal. And once I began eating and could taste my food, I just started crying. You know, you don't really realize all the simple things that we take for granted in life. But going through that, it made me more appreciative and grateful for those small things. Now, another thing that happened in March was my sister's birthday. Her birthday was on March 7th, and I wanted to make sure that I was the very first one that called her and wished her a happy birthday. Now, my sister usually stayed up late, so at 12:01 a.m., I sent her a text message saying, happy birthday to you, my dear sister. May God continue to bless you with more. She didn't respond, so I resent the message, and then I went to bed. The next morning, as I was preparing for work, my house phone rang, but because I was busy cooking lunch and cooking my breakfast, I didn't answer the phone at the time, and I just figured I would check my messages before I left home. And then I also thought that it was probably my sister calling me, so I would just call her back once I got in the car and was on my way to the transit center. But before I went out the door, the thought came to me, check your messages. So I checked my messages, and instead of it being my sister, it was my mom. She was saying, I called Cheryl to wish her a happy birthday. Wesley, my sister's husband, answered the phone and told me that Cheryl was dead. Now, all I remember was just running through my house screaming, no, no, no. I went into my room and I laid across the bed and I was screaming and crying. And after a couple of minutes, I heard the Lord say to me, peace, peace. I've got this and I've got you. I began to feel a peace come over me at that time that I can't even describe to you. My sister had passed away peacefully and unexpectedly in her sleep on her 64th birthday, March 7, 2018. The text message that I sent to her, I still have it on my phone. Whenever the Lord says peace, there'll be peace. Peace. Oh, oh, peace. Whenever the Lord says peace, there'll be peace. Peace. Oh, oh, peace. In addition to being a retired special ed teacher for the Los Angeles Unified School District, my sister was also the elect lady in her church's jurisdiction. My sister was very, very active in her church ministries. We had a glorious homegoing celebration for my sister on Monday, March 19, 2018. Actually, we had church, and I know that my sister would have been proud. I'm going to end this segment right here. And in my next video, I'll be sharing with you the details of my double mastectomy surgery and the good news that I received. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel so you'll know when the next video will be uploaded. As always, thank you for watching and listening.